morning, race fans, and welcome back to League Zero, the premier Formula 3 iRacing series. Today, we're at Suzuka International Racecourse, where we've got our action-packed feature event, followed by the sprint race. As always, I'm your host, James E. bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, as it looks like drivers getting gridded up, ready to go. Starting on pole, Russell Soto making his return for the first time in a long time. Brandon Wan starting second. Nick Beaver starts third. Raymond Aguilar starting fourth. Charles Carrainer starting fifth. Kevin Burrows starting sixth. Jared Ziegler starts seventh. Nick Peterson starting eighth. Michael Fairchild starts ninth. Antonio Bianchi starting 10th. We've got Peter Rettinger starting 11th. Nick Trollman starting 12th. Cycling it back to Matthew Casey starting 13th. Gareth Mcallister, the world-famous Australian, starts 14th. Got Cummins starting 15th. Norman King starts 16th. Xavier Zanave starting 17th. Levi Opitz starting 18th. And that will round out the grid here today as we get ready for action. Waiting for the drivers to get gridded up here. Taking what looks like a couple minutes here to get all the drivers out on track. And here we go. We get ready for the lights to come on here at Suzuka. And away they go. Looks like Brandon Wan gets a great launch. Soto maybe stuck sleeping the wheel. He drops back very quickly to fourth. And Brandon Wan's going to lead the charge into turn one. Here comes Nick Beaver trying to make the outside line work. Also looks like you got Soto, Burrows in the mix, as well as Carrainer in the 54 machine, who I believe is a newcomer. And let's see how this is going to pan out. Brandon Wan takes over the race lead. There's Aguilar up 2 spots early on the 72 machine, taking over the second place spot. Nick Beaver third. Soto has fallen back to fourth. We've got problems at the back. Nick Trollman showing with an off-track excursion early on. Not seeing any damage on that machine, so a good sign. As here's the battle for second. Aguilar, Beaver, nose to tail here as Brandon Wan extends his lead up front to 96. He's pulled about an 8/10 gap over the rest of the field. Now we've got 22 laps, 45 minutes, whatever's going to come first. Followed by a brief intermission. And then our action-packed sprint race of the night. Let's go a little bit further back in the field. There's a lot of action going on in the final points paying positions. Got Gareth Mcallister in 11th, Matthew Casey, the Technicolor number 15. Peter Rettinger also in the mix, but look at this. We've got some side-by-side action up front. Aguilar trying to fend off Nick Beaver's number 10 machine. Beaver took a shot at the 72 machine, wasn't quite able to make it happen. That's going to allow Soto and Carrainer able to close the gap here in the top 5. Let's see, is Beaver going to hop out of formation? Taking a peek to the inside line. And at least for now, Beaver's going to take over the second place spot as the field stacks up behind. That's Aguilar, Soto, Carrainer on the top 5. This is giving a pretty healthy breakaway to Dewan, your race leader. So now Aguilar is going to tuck in behind Beaver's number 10 machine. Looks like Zanave takes an alternative route, able to hold on to it. That's Levi Opitz, who just worked his way around the number 7. Opitz now up 1 spot. Looks like, though, everybody that started out on track still there, as there goes Opitz. also having his own off-track excursion, aggressive tire cooling. And here's what we wanted to see. Russell Soto, the long-awaited return of the number 50 machine. Qualified in the top spot, has fallen back to 4th. And almost made contact with the rear wing of Raymond Aguilar. Able to hold on to it there. Soto edging out Aguilar. Now, I believe Soto ran a limited schedule last season. This is his first appearance so far this season here at League Zero. And Nick Beaver just clicked off the fastest lap of the race, a 152.57. Soto just clicked off his fastest, a 153.09. So feeling a little bit better as the run progresses, getting used to that Formula 3 machine once more. We go a little bit further back. Looks like some drivers stacking up from 6th through about 11th place. That's Jared Ziegler leading this pack in the number 57 machine. He's got Kevin Burrows, Nick Peterson tucked in behind, as well as Antonio Bianchi, Michael Fairchild. Fairchild's been having a bit of internet issues, and Nick Beaver just has an off track. And that's going to give the second place spot to Soto. Aguilar trying to work his way around the number 10 machine. Not quite able to get the drive out of the corner. Really cut the apex off early. Looks like Xavier Zinave back to pit road early on. He's got some sort of issues. As now we're all watching with bated breath to see if Russell Soto is going to be able to close the gap out front. As Jared Ziegler, Kevin Burrows side by side. Burrows up the inside line. Ziegler almost off track there in the 57, able to carry just a little bit more speed. And let's see how this is going to pan out, as now Nick Peterson joining the fray in the 24, getting around Burrows, but we've got problems at the back of the track. Norman King finds himself with a big moment. Let's take a look, see what happened. Oh, contact between, I believe that was King and Trollman, the number 8 machine. Not quite sure how that one happened. I can't tell if maybe King tried to cut down throughout the apex, or Trollman maybe pushed the front a little bit there. As things starting to spread out a little bit. Now keep an eye on Soto in second place. Puts off another fastest lap, the fastest lap of the race, a 152.13. Running just about 0.3 faster than Brandon Dewan, your race leader. As we've got another 3-car battle out on track. That's Fairchild, McAllister, and Casey. Running 10th, 11th, 12th. And it is getting a little bit frantic here. McAllister is up 4 spots inside the top 10. Fairchild down 2 spots. And let's go up a little bit further. We've got Scrubby Scrub cheering on Gareth McAllister, the Aussie, over on the Twitch side of things here, Team Goon Squad. And a very busy racetrack. You got Nick Beaver, Raymond Aguilar throwing shots at each other. You've got Kevin Burrows, Nick Peterson, Kevin Burrows making moves. Looks like Antonio Bianchi, the bright blue number 17 machine, he's also in the mix. And a very busy track here. Brandon Juan still holding on to the race lead by about 1.7 seconds. I wonder if Soto maybe got a slowdown there, as it seemed like he rapidly fell off the pace. And waiting to see what Antonio Bianchi's going to try and do here. As we go on board the number 17 machine of Bianchi, the friendly Canadian. And side-by-side action in front, that's Peterson, Burrows going at it. Bianchi gets into the back, and it's a 3-car pileup. Bianchi almost pulls back in traffic, and that is going to be a big, big crash, taking out several drivers. Let's get the replay queued up here. That was the last thing that Bianchi wanted. Take a look at the number 17 machine of Bianchi. Let's see if he drives it in too deep, or do the drivers in front of him have a bit of a bobble? Bianchi sees an opening, looking for a way around here, throws it in deep on the inside. And is it going to be Bianchi? Yes, I think Bianchi got into the back of Peterson and almost came out in track. That'll be 3 very fast drivers going towards the back here. Now I can tell you that's the last thing Bianchi was looking for. And let's see as the rest of the field starts to settle into a little bit of a groove here. Brandon Juan clicking off laps. Michael Fairchild, things have gone his way. Now he's got pressure from Gareth Mcallister at the inside line. A slight contact wheel to wheel between the two. Mcallister takes over the position on the outside line. Fairchild quickly answers back. Contact once more. Mcallister, Fairchild throwing haymakers. That's allowing Matthew Casey, the number 15 machine. He's going to join the party. Peter Redinger, the 44, the all-black 44. Sees the 2-wide action in front of him. He wants a piece of it. Fairchild, Mcallister, still side by side. Mcallister holds on to it through one. Fairchild having those connection issues. That's the last thing these drivers want when they're going side by side, wheel to wheel. And let me tell you, these open wheel race cars don't bode well for any sort of contact. Up front, Mr. Consistency, Russell Soto, has closed the gap now to race leader Brandon Juan to 0.7 of a second. Fuel window is going to open up in the next 4 to 5 laps, where we can start to expect drivers coming down pit road. And what is generally a one-stop race for these guys. Oh, it looked like Mcallister had a bit of a bobble. Fairchild really closed the gap there. Now, we talked to Mcallister before tonight's broadcast, and he was not at all a fan of several portions of the racetrack here at Suzuka, especially the chicanes he was really fighting with. as McAllister, Fairchild, Casey, Redinger, all within about a second and a quarter of each other. From 6th through 9th place, Raymond Aguilar has fallen all the way back to 10th, who's historically been an odds-on favorite to win it here at League Zero. But as the seasons progress, even mid-season, starting to see that talent field get a little bit deeper each and every week. And apparently Aguilar was involved in a crash on lap 6. Let's take a quick look and see what happened to the 72 machine. He's side by side with the number 10, that's Nick Beaver. And just loses the rear end, and around goes Aguilar. Oh, thankfully able to stay out of traffic. And here we go, the McAllister, the Fairchild show continues in the battle for 6th. McAllister holds about a quarter of a second advantage over Fairchild's 88. Fairchild, with those internet issues, has been tough to predict what and where he's going to do, or if he disappears, even where he's going to reappear at. McAllister pushes a little bit wide, a slight bobble. Fairchild is going to look to the inside line here. McAllister wisely backs out of it. No, McAllister is going to slow down early, really tighten the corner up. Well, looks like Fairchild fires back with a little bit more momentum. And this is the battle for 6th, ladies and gentlemen. These guys are going at it here today. Now, all the while this is happening, they've been losing time to Jared Ziegler in 5th. He's 5.5 seconds ahead. As you're on board the world-famous Australian Gareth Mcallister, tucked in behind Fairchild's number 88 machine. Oh, look at the dive by McAllister. Here we go. McAllister throws it in deep into turn 1. Fairchild tries a high-low move, not able to get it as McAllister holds on to the spot. What a fantastic race between these two. Go a little bit further back. Peter Redinger has his hands full with Raymond Aguilar, who had that early spin. We're trying to get this updated so we can get some footage back on screen for the fans at home. Russell Soto, your current race leader. After making the move on Brandon Dewan, looks like we've got it corrected here in the booth. So let's take a look once more at the pass for the lead. Russell Soto working his way around Brandon Dewan. A big move up the inside line. Dewan tries to fire back in the chicane. Wisely realizes not enough room for both of those cars to make it through. And that will put Russell Soto back into the race lead. Qualified up front. Worked his way back up. And Brandon Dewan is going to try and close the gap to Soto if he can. After we had that big hiccup in the broadcast booth. Now let's go back. Gareth Mcallister, Michael Fairchild, Matthew Casey, Raymond Aguilar, Peter Rettinger still in a nice tidy pack. As drivers screaming on these tires, trying to make something happen as quick as they can. Now Russell Soto still has the fastest lap of the race and the number 50 machine. He was able to click off a 152.13 in the SB Grand Prix number 50. Compared to Branduano at a 152.39. Now, it took Soto quite a while to close that gap. And now he's got clean air in front of him. This is where Soto is happiest. I'd say that's where most of the guys are happiest. Clean air in front, just had the focusing on hitting their marks. And at this point, no traffic forecasted. We've got 4 drivers in pit road. Kevin Burrows, Antonio Bianchi, Nick Peterson, Xavier Zanave, who may be retired for this feature event. But look at this, here comes Branduano closing the gap once more to Soto. And we're going to have a battle for lead after all as Branduano clicks off the fastest lap of the race on 152 flat. Took a little bit of a peek there to the inside line of Soto going into one. Wonder maybe trying to rustle up Soto just a little bit, maybe get him off his mental game, a bit of a psych out move. But Soto, a wily expert, not having any issues with it. As we continue watching, just a half second between these two drivers for the race lead. Aguilar still crawling his way up, back towards the front, has worked his way back into 9th. After such a good qualifying, qualified 4th, had an early off-track excursion, a bit of a spin, and now he's putting the pressure on Matthew Casey, but there's contact between the two. Aguilar with nowhere to go. I think he's still got his front wing, but how does he not have more damage on the 72 machine there? Absolutely drilling Matthew Casey. Let's watch this once more. Casey, just gets clobbered by Aguilar. Aguilar had absolutely nowhere to go there. And unfortunately, I think that's going to put Casey well and out of this feature event. Now, he'll still be able to have time to go back to the virtual paddock and get ready for the sprint race, which is immediately to follow here tonight. As Branduano will be one of the first drivers down pit road for his scheduled stop of the evening. Coming in on lap 13. Soto and Beaver opt to stay out, now running 1 and 2. Always intrigued to see how strategy is going to pan out for these drivers. Historically, just about nobody opts to take tires on these stops, just splashing off on fuel. Matthew Casey's also going to come down pit road. Now this puts Branduano all the way back into 9th, right in the danger zone, as he's going to be behind the battle between Aguilar and Rettinger for 7th. But Duan knows he can't lose too much time here because Soto is going to try and hammer out a hot lap late into the fuel run. With clean air all the way around that number 50 machine for the race leader. As I thought I heard a little bit of bumping and grinding going on there. On board Brandon Dewan's Dr. Pepperback 96 machine. He's behind Renger, the Mustard Seed Racing 44. Now Dewan's got to be careful not to put himself in the vortex of danger here. Having to trust his own ability as well as those around him. He's closed the gap down to 1/10 of a second behind Renger. Takes a peek on trackside left to try and get set up here. It's a drag race for 8th place. And Dewan able to take it over. Now he's got Aguilar ahead of him, another very fast driver. If those two can link up, maybe work together for a bit, they might be able to close that gap as your top 4 come down pit road. Soto, Beaver, Ziegler, Rainer, all down pit road. A whole lot of everybody coming down pit road except for Michael Fairchild, Gareth Mcallister. That's going to put Dewan back up into 4th. As there's Russell Soto. Brandon Dewan swings around the outside, and this is going to be the future battle for the lead as Fairchild and Mcallister out front have yet to come down pit road. Both Brandon Dewan, Russell Soto in and out of their pit stalls in exactly 5.6 seconds. Both drivers have gotten down to the low 1:52 second lap times. As up ahead, it looked like that was Mcallister with a self-spin. That'll put Mcallister back into 4th. He has yet to box yet. Fairchild out front, your race leader. Scratching the fuel run just a little while longer. Now Mcallister might be a little bit flustered after that incident, but not all is lost. He'll be able to take his time, collect himself on pit road when he splashes off his number 25 machine. And Brandon Dewan has pulled about a 1.2 second margin over Soto. But we saw how quick Soto was during the longer green flag run just a little while ago before that pit stop on lap 12 for Dewan and 13 for Soto. As now Beaver and Mcallister battling for the 4th place spot side by side. Mcallister may be getting set up to come down pit road here, so not going to battle too intently. And yes, he does exactly that, sliding around and bringing it on to pit road. So it's going to be Brandon Dewan, Russell Soto, Nick Beaver, 1, 2, 3, Fairchild, Mcallister. Down pit road with a late race stop. Norman King also stretching the run out in his number 28 machine. He has yet to box. Now let's see Soto closing the gap down to about 9/10 of a second behind Dewan's 96 machine. But Dewan stretches the gap back to a second, and no, Brandon Dewan spins it, or no, who was that? Yes, that was Brandon Dewan, spins it around, and he's going to fall back to 3rd. The bad luck of the leaders here at League Zero continue. Let's take a look, see what happened to that 96 machine. Just caught the edge of the curbing there. Very odd, wasn't in the grass, still on the painted concrete. The standards, that concrete should have a bit of traction, but Brandon Dewan's going to fall back to 3rd. And Russell Soto will inherit the race lead nice and easy. We've got a battle for the top 5 going on. Charles Rainer, Michael Fairchild battling for 5th. Rainer, a newcomer. Fairchild, a seasoned veteran, 6 laps left to go in the feature event. And no, the bad luck continues. There goes Carrener, careening off track. And late in the race, drivers having more and more issues. Let's take a look, see what happened to Carrener there in the 54. Another solo incident. Very self-inflicted incident, probably the best way to describe it. Just sends it careening around. Well done to Fairchild for the crash avoidance there. Checking back in on race leader Russell Soto, a 4.7 second advantage to the return of the number 50 machine. Now, I think one of the big talking points of tonight will be to see, can Raymond Aguilar hold on to the points? Aguilar came into this round at Suzuka a 45-point advantage to Nick Beaver, the number 10 machine. Beaver currently second out on track. Aguilar back in 6th, so Beaver may have a little bit of good fortune coming his way here. As Russell Soto has the fastest lap of the race, breaking into the 151s, a 151.92, absolutely flying in that number 50 machine. As it looks like Raymond Aguilar, Michael Fairchild having a bit of a battle for 5th. Aguilar knows he needs every point he can get here. Now, I'm already excited for the sprint race to follow after this feature event. There we go, there's Fairchild, a big blink there, right in front of Aguilar. And Fairchild locks up the brakes. Aguilar not able to take advantage of the situation. We still have 14 drivers out on track. And I'm ready to see, can Beaver maybe fire back against Soto's fastest lap, maybe getting into a 151 lap time as well for that number 10, currently in 2nd. And how is this going to pan out? Aguilar 6, still about 7/10 back from Fairchild. How are the points going to break down? As it looks like Carrener has another issue. He's now down 4 spots in the 54. Take a quick peek, see what happened to him there. Looks like a little bit much curbing. And yeah, just got him unsettled for the entire corner. So not much of a crash. A little bit of a lockup. He's got to be mindful of heating the tires. But thankfully, no damage. As our hard charger of the night, still Gareth Mcallister in the number 25 machine. As Aguilar looks like he just got gifted 5th place. Fairchild with an off-track moment. Mcallister able to salvage a couple more points there with that move. As there's Russell Soto proudly out front at number 50, 6.5 seconds up over Nick Beaver. As talking about Mcallister, the hard charger, he's trying to track down Peter Rettinger's 44 machine and see if he can work that number 25 a little bit higher up inside the top 10, see if he can sneak home a 7th. But there's that the chicane that Mcallister hates oh so dearly, as he said before tonight's show. As the field getting a little bit more stretched out. Soto with a commanding lead has stretched it now to 7 seconds ahead of Nick Beaver. Good to see Soto showing back up here at League Zero, putting on such a dominant performance, and maybe even more importantly, having good luck go his way. And it doesn't look like Soto's hot lapping as much as last time by, a 152.16. So maybe not feeling the need to set record-breaking lap times. Knowing it's not too terribly uncommon to see drivers, especially race leaders here at League Zero, have late race incidents. And we may still have a battle for second shaping up. Brandon has closed the gap now to about 9/10 behind Beaver's number 10 machine. But not a lot of laps left for Dewan to try and make something happen. Beaver, Dewan were so close in qualifying. But it looks like Dewan's still got a little bit something left, closing the gap to 6/10 down the start-finish line straight. Trying to catch that draft before Beaver throws it into turn 1. And all the while, Soto continuing to gain more and more time on the rest of the field. The gap now just about 8 seconds over what is quickly becoming the battle for second. And here we go, Brandon slowly closing the gap to Beaver with just a couple laps left. The top 3 is not yet decided, 20 laps in. Oh, look how deep Brandon goes. I wonder if he missed his brake mark there, his reference. Having to get offline to avoid getting to the back of Beaver's number 10 machine. Oh, and contact between the two, and they're still leaning on each other. I don't think these guys know these are open wheel cars. Brandon, Nick Beaver, elbows are out. We're going to grab a replay here in a second. But for right now, we can't look away, as it looks like, still wheel to wheel. I thought Beaver was going to have a bit of a breakaway, able to get clear. And there we go, Beaver able to take back second place after the absolute rough contact between the two. Let's see if we have time to take a look at that one, because that was absolutely violent between these two. Watch this between Nick Beaver, Brandon Dewan. Bumping wheels, bumping wheels, bumping wheels. In the first part of chicane. Grinding on each other once more through the second kink. And again they're going at it. Nick Beaver, Brandon Dewan are here to put on a show at Suzuka. Dewan has taken over the second place spot, but I will bet my last dollar that Nick Beaver is going to fire back. As I say it, the commentator's curse strikes, and Nick Beaver goes for a wild ride, sitting on the outside line, waiting for the track to clear. And that's going to put Jared Ziegler up into third. Let's take a look, see what happened to Beaver in the number 10 machine. Just around, he goes the same place. We've seen so many cars get thrown around violently. That's going to put Brandon Dewan out in no man's land. 12.5 seconds back from Russell Soto. 9.2 ahead of Jared Ziegler. All of a sudden, Ziegler finds himself in podium contention as the white flag comes out. And no, Ziegler has an off-track moment as well. He's got to be careful. Raymond Aguilar just 2 seconds back. Aguilar on a mission to move up towards the front here. So right now it's Soto, Dewan, Ziegler, Aguilar, Beaver, your current top 5 on the final lap of the evening. Checkered flag is out. Russell Soto, in his return here to League Zero, picks up the win in dominant fashion. 12.5 seconds up over Brandon Dewan, and setting the fastest lap of the race on that final lap. Russell Soto is pumped to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Dewan crosses the start-finish line in second. And Jared Ziegler is going to round out the top 3 here at Suzuka. My, oh my, what a wild night that one was. And that's not even the sprint race, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get these top 3 drivers up here into victory lane for their podium interviews, and then a very brief intermission before the sprint race. Half the laps, twice the action. So we're going to get things started as drivers coming around pit road. Up first, we've got Jared Ziegler, the number 57 machine, join us back up here. It's been too long, my friend. Welcome back to the top 3, and what a wild night here at Suzuka.
Yeah, that was a fun one. That was an unexpected podium there. Everyone just started dropping like flies late in the race, so I'll take it.
Now, Jared, it always seems like either early in the race or late in the race, the commentator's curse, the misfortune, the League Zero curse starts to strike, and you start to see the fast guys, I guess all the guys, really start to have late race problems. What do you think it is that causes those throughout the night?
I don't know. Just tires are wearing a little bit more than people expect, especially for people who haven't raced it a bit, especially this car. It's not huge, but it's probably about a 20% difference compared to what it was seasons prior. So I don't know, over pushing. Plus, it's just a pretty hard track in general. So that might be a little bit of it.
Now, Jared, now you're going to be starting ninth for the sprint race this evening. What's the big plans? What's the goal? And how are you going to execute such another great finish?
Well, I started seventh in the feature, so if I can just hang on, just we had a surprisingly really good through S battle there with Nick, Kevin, and I. It was really fun. Cold tires, it was frightening, but it was fun. If I can hang out on the outside like I did there and pass one or two cars, I think I should be good from there and just try and survive the rest of the race. That's kind of what I did in the feature.
Awesome, Jared. I'm looking forward to it. I know the fans at home are as well. And before I let you go, get you ready for this final sprint race. Who do you want to give a shout out to or pay thanks to?
Yeah, absolutely. Racing for Children's. If you want to donate, go to our website, racingforchildrens.org. Really good charity over there. Helps Alabama children's hospitals. Of course, we have Nemesis Labs, Team Goon Squad, Martial Arts, Ethiopian Organics, and Propane Depot for all sponsoring my IndyCar league. Need to thank them, even though they're not in the same league, but still got to thank them. Youth Broadcasting, like I said, and League Zero for putting on a good event.
Awesome, Jared. Always a great time talking to you. Good luck in the sprint race and hope to have you back up here, my friend.
Thank you. Absolutely. Can't wait to talk to you here in about 25 minutes.
That was Jared Ziegler bringing home the third place spot. He's got confidence going to the sprint race. Up next, Brandon Dewan, the 96 machine. Brandon, do you guys realize you're in open wheel cars and not super late models out there?
Yeah, Rubbin is racing, so
Well,
that's
you guys had a lot of it there. What were you guys thinking? Were you chatting back and forth? Because it seems like you guys were kind of getting hooked up through the final chicane and couldn't really get away from each other for the longest time.
Are you talking about with Russell or with Nick?
I think it was, yeah, Nick Beaver. It was probably about 3-4 laps before the finish line or the checkered, and you guys were, I mean, going at it.
Yeah, I mean, I had the outside, and I don't know if it was net code or what, but it looked like I got run off the track, and so I maybe saw a little bit of red and got my elbows out a bit, but you know, I think I tried to leave him room where I could, but it did get a little aggressive there.
Yeah, super fun to watch for myself and the fans at home. So I know we enjoyed it up here. Now, what's the plan going to the sprint race? We know you've got the aggressiveness, you've got the talent to run up front. What's the plan when you have to work through the field? Are you playing it safe? Are you going all out early on? How are you going to try and get back on the podium for a second time in a night?
Cross my fingers and pray.
That seems like it's going to work well. Brandon, any other comments you want to make about the race? Anything that we might have missed, or do we pretty much cap everything off there?
Just welcome back to Russell, Return of the King. League's missed you, man.
Well, very well said. Good to see Soto back. And Brandon, before I let you go, you're ready for this sprint race. Who do you want to give a shout out to that helped make tonight possible?
Shout out to Matt Casey, who rejoined the league today. Also.
Awesome. Brandon,
Oh.
always. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think he did too hot, but that's okay.
Wow, that's welcome back to racing. Well, Brandon, good talking to you, my friend. Hope to have you back up here in the sprint race and a fantastic run out there.
Thanks.
That was Brandon Dewan bringing home second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, somebody we haven't talked to in way too long, Russell Soto. Welcome back to League Zero, and more importantly, welcome back to the top spot, my friend.
Thank you, James. It's honestly very great to be back. I'm very happy to join this group of guys and to have this debut to the season. I couldn't have asked for better, honestly.
Now, Russell, coming back into the league kind of cold. We know you've got tons of driving experience and usually stay pretty sharp on your talent and abilities, but what was your expectations coming to tonight? You got a bunch of new drivers. The field's changed, I'd say relatively drastically, about half the field, new names and faces from what you're used to since your last race here. So what were you thinking coming into tonight?
Absolutely, James. The expectations were certainly not high. This is my first sim race in months. Just, getting used to a new job and a new move to Michigan. I haven't been able to pick up the sim, but now that I've actually had the chance to today and to have this result, I honestly couldn't have asked for better. I was having a great race with Brandon, and overall, the strategy worked. Unfortunately, just a little bit too much fuel on the pit stop that caused the undercut to happen, but otherwise, it was an amazing race.
Now, Russell, I know, new life, school, all that fun stuff, the adulting always get in the way of our racing, both real and virtual. Does that mean we're going to start to see that number 50 machine back out here on Thursday nights a little bit more often, or what's the plan for the rest of the season moving forward?
Absolutely, James. I'm back, and I'm back to stay. I can't wait to continue the rest of the season. I had an absolute blast tonight. I'm going to be here next week.
Awesome, Russell. Very glad to have you back. I know the drivers all respect you, love driving around you, so nothing but love coming back out here to League Zero. And Russell, before we let you get ready for this sprint race, who do you want to give a shout out to, pay thanks to, that helps make this return be so triumphant this evening?
I'd like to give a special thanks to my family, particularly my dad, who helped assemble my sim rig here in Michigan. It was definitely tricky, especially with the monitors. They weren't powering on, but we got through it. I'd like to thank this league as well for just being an amazing league. Antonio does a great job of running things, and of course you as well, James, with the broadcast. It's great to be back.
Well, good to have you back, my friend. Russell, good luck in the sprint race. We'll let you go get ready, and again, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you so much, James.
That was Russell Soto bringing home the top spot with his triumphant return. Don't go anywhere. In less than 4 minutes, we're going to send him back out for the action-packed sprint race of the evening. Half the laps, twice the action, and always broadcasted live here at Team Goon Squad. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, for the action-packed sprint race of the night. Half the laps, and arguably my favorite part, an inverted top 12 grid. So that means Jared Ziegler, Brennan Dewan, Russell Soto running 3-2-1 the race prior. Going to be starting 10th, 11th, and 12th to cut through the field here tonight. That's going to put Matthew Casey on the front row, accompanied by Scott Cummins, Nick Trollman, Charles Carrainer. Running 3rd and 4th, Gareth Mcallister, Pete Redinger will be our 3rd row as we get ready for the lights to come on here at Suzuka. And away we go once more. Get ready to see some big chargers and some big lunges here. As drivers know, no pit stops to shake things up. Matthew Casey holding on to the race lead as Scott Cummins has a whole lot of company behind him. That's Carrainer, Trollman, Mcallister, all in the mix. Looks like Redinger going side by side with, I believe that was Nick Beaver right behind him. Mcallister in front. Aguilar known for his aggressiveness. Gaining a spot early on. He's up to 8th. And so far, everybody relatively well behaved. So far. Going back up front, Matthew Casey holds on to the race lead behind him. About 7/10 is Scott Cummins, who has Carrainer linked up to the rear wing of the 55 machine. They're trying to get a breakaway from Gareth Mcallister, and 4th Mcallister has Trollman, Redinger, and Beaver tucked in behind him. Oh, around goes Cummins. Oh, don't bounce out on the track. Lock the brakes up as the field comes around. And Cummins has an incident. Looks like Fairchild also off track in the first chicane. Everybody having problems here. Let's take a look at Scott Cummins. What happened to him? Just loses the back end. And watch this onboard. That is not a view you want. Oh my goodness. Cummins wisely gets off the brakes to roll back out off the track. And what was almost a catastrophe for a large portion of the field. Mcallister has worked his way up into 2nd place. I believe that was after Fairchild has his incident. Mcallister has Carrainer roll right behind him. Carrainer closing the gap down to about 0.3 of a second. Carrainer has about 0.9 on Trollman, who sits in 4th, and Trollman has a little bit of advantage over Redinger, who rounds out the top 5. And this is interesting. Russell Soto, Raymond Aguilar are linked up out on track, as well as Nick Beaver. Beaver, Aguilar, Soto running 6th, 7th, and 8th. As well, and then there's Jared Ziegler in 9th. So the gang's all here after the inverted top 12. And just ahead of this pack is Peter Redinger, who's going to try and get around Nick Beaver. Beaver's up 3 spots early on, and he's going to defend the inside line here against the Austrian and the 44 machine. I will say this has been a little bit of a tamer sprint race than I was expecting. As I say that, Antonio Bianchi with an off-track excursion in the bright blue 17 machine. Taking tire cooling to the extreme here at Suzuka. Mcallister holding on to the second place spot. He's about 1.8 seconds back from Matthew Casey. Casey, another driver who's rejoined the league, didn't have the luck he was looking for in the feature event, but gonna try and capitalize on the shorter race. Only 8 laps left to go. No planned pit stops for these drivers here tonight. And looks like everybody except for Scott Cummins and Kevin Burrows still out on track. Brandon, and that's going to be Jared Ziegler having a battle for P9. Juan was very fast in the sprint race, or the feature event. As what happened to Ziegler? Take a quick look to see what happened. Oh, tags Brandon up and over. Drills the wall and the car gets all explodey on him. So Ziegler will be done and out for the race. Now here at League Zero, if you take a tow back to pit road, you are done, you are out, and you are not allowed to rejoin the circuit. So unfortunately for Ziegler, picking up that podium in the feature event, will be joining the list of drivers retiring back to the virtual hauler. As it looked like Trollman with an off-track excursion. I think Beaver might have followed him there as the freight train starts to stack up. Here comes Beaver looking for a way around the number 8 machine of Trollman. Takes a dive to the inside line, has to back out of it. Not the moment. Oh, but Trollman pushes wide. That's where we've seen drivers get violently spun around. So well done to Trollman, able to hold on to it as he's going to try and fire back against Beaver. Beaver's going to defend the inside line here as they're side by side. Redinger, Aguilar looking for a way through. Redinger goes very far off track, and look at Aguilar go, throwing it in deep there to work his way up into 5th. Making almost a double move on Trollman and Redinger. There's the number 10 machine of Nick Beaver. That marks the 4th place spot that Aguilar is going to be making his next target. As, Gareth Mcallister has an off track. That's going to give the 2nd place spot the Carrainer in the 54, the friendly Canadian. Now far back in the field, Brandon Dewan sitting in 9th place has the fastest lap, a 1:52.64. But in these sprint races, not a lot of time to make advantage of it. If you have a rough or a slow start, it is very, very tough to get your way back up towards the front. As we check in with race leader Matthew Casey, he's got 1.3 seconds up of Carrainer. Carrainer in the number 54 machine, he's got Mcallister in his wake trying to pull his way back up towards the front. And most importantly, these top 3 want to keep Nick Beaver. You can see the red and white number 10 machine in the background. With 6 laps left, I think Beaver, if he can keep his nose clean, will have time to get up there and join the party. As we say that, Beaver closes the gap through the chicane. Mcallister's least favorite part here out on track. But McAllister and Carraner may have that draft to work off of. As there's Matthew Casey leading this party into turn 1. Beaver the fastest lap of 152.4. Brandon Wan had a big off track. He's going to lose his spot. Russell Soto moves his way up into 6th. As we go on board with Nick Beaver in the number 10. Who's got my favorite decals on the winglets of this Formula 3 machine. The thonk on the right side, the aggressively lapping on the left side. Reminding Beaver, hey, at the end of the day, it's just sim racing. Life's too short to take things too extremely seriously. As we're going to back that camera angle out a little bit because it looks like McAllister and Carraner were getting very, very close there. As Beaver slowly closing the gap in here, trying to work his way inside the top 3. Looks like the top 5 starting to close up a little bit. Aguilar's closed the gap to 4th place driver Nick Beaver down to about 3/4 of a second. A bit of a lockup there from Aguilar. Now how's this going to pan out? Beaver's going to want to try and catch up to McAllister, Carraner, Casey before Aguilar can catch him. Because if any of these guys start duking it out, that's going to slow down the pace. And now Russell Soto, the fastest lap in the 6th place spot for the number 50. A 152.1. Beaver driving the wheels off that number 10 machine, trying to catch the world famous Australian of McAllister. McAllister about 6, caught about 7/10 behind Carraner. Carraner looking for his first podium as a rookie here to the League Zero Series. As Casey holding on for dear life out front. He wants that win with his return. We saw Soto bringing home his first race back after a long hiatus in the feature event. Will it be time for Matthew Casey with 4 laps left to go? Beaver, Aguilar, Soto, 3 extremely fast drivers running 4th, 5th, and 6th. Have a fair amount of drivers to cut through here that are all looking for that podium spot. As the field's stacking up, this is where things get a little bit dangerous. Nick Beaver has reeled in McAllister, 4/10 separating the 3rd and 4th place driver. There's Aguilar, who's just on the right side of your screen. He's closing the gap. This is going to be good. Beaver wants to make that pass on McAllister as quickly as he can. McAllister is going to defend like his life depends on it. He desperately wants a podium here. And if Beaver spends too much time, here comes Aguilar. Here comes Soto. The gang's all here. Beaver looking for a way around the number 25 machine. Aguilar and Soto pulling a little bit closer here to Nick Beaver. as Matthew Casey, your race leader, still holding about a 7/10 gap over Carrainer. McAllister's going to try and hold on for 3 more laps. Now, if I had to guess, if Aguilar can catch up to Beaver, I don't think he's going to battle too much here. Wanting that podium spot more than anything, McAllister defends into the chicane. He is not happy here. That's going to slow the run of Beaver and maybe give Aguilar a chance to fire back at the number 10 machine. Is Aguilar going to dive into turn 1 here? Is he going to stay linked up wing to gearbox? It looks like Aguilar is going to stay behind. No, Aguilar looks to sit on the inside line, backs out of it. All these drivers extremely professional in their own right. So with 2 laps left to go, are they going to start battling for 4th, or is the eye still on a podium position? Because this is giving Casey, Carrainer, and McAllister a little bit longer opportunity. They want those drivers 4th place back to start throwing elbows and haymakers. Soto has a bit of an off track, able to hold on to it, but he'll lose a little bit of time to Aguilar there. Beaver now 1/10 behind. Let's call it about a 10th and a half behind McAllister. McAllister with a big lockup out of the 25. The field stacks up behind. And now Aguilar's got company with Russell Soto. It's been too long since we've seen these two dive it back and forth. Soto sends it up the inside line. How are they able to hold on to it there? So Soto moves his way up into 5th, edging out Aguilar, who'll drop back to 6th. I think everybody inside the top 4 is ecstatic to see those two going at it. And Beaver still has his head locked forward. A bit of a lockup there out of Beaver. Beaver all sorts of out of shape coming through that chicane. Here comes Soto. Soto not expecting to bring home the win, the feature event. And here he is getting ready to battle for 4th place in the sprint. As up ahead of him, McAllister, the absolute mad lad, battles with Carrainer, takes over the 2nd place spot. Right behind them, Soto and Beaver side by side. It is a frantic sprint race here at Suzuka. Soto takes over the 4th place spot. What has McAllister gotten into? We never see that type of aggressiveness out of the number 25 Australian. Casey holding about a 9/10 gap. McAllister trying to close it. And look at Carrainer. Heavy on the brakes. We've got 6 drivers out on track, and I think any one of them has a fantastic chance of bringing home a win here. Watching with bated breath, let's go a little bit further back. Nick Beaver, Russell Soto side by side. Aguilar looking for a way through. He's going to join the party tucked in behind Beaver on the outside. Aguilar way off track there. As up ahead, I think that was Carrainer, locks up the brakes. Soto trying to avoid getting to the back of Beaver. White flag is out here at Suzuka. The final sprint race of the night. It's Casey, McAllister, Carrainer, Beaver, Soto, Aguilar, all in the fray. Soto and Beaver side by side once more, both trying to get around Carrainer, not having enough real estate. This is going to give Casey and McAllister the smallest bit of a breakaway. McAllister's got his heads down, closing the gap to Matthew Casey, your race leader. Soto looks to the inside line of Carrainer, can't find an opening. Soto tucked in behind him. Beaver Aguilar still in this freight train of talent. Oh, and there's contact. Soto and Carrainer off track. Hard damage. That's going to maybe lock things up for Nick Beaver. McAllister's closed the gap to your race leader to half a second. McAllister's going for it here, ladies and gentlemen. He's got nothing left, giving it everything he's got. Last time by, McAllister almost a half second faster than Casey. But with 4/10 of a lap left to go, will McAllister have anything left? He's got to be careful. He just wants to bring home a career best here at League Zero. He got to be mindful, but that might be it. Casey has a big bobble in the lead, losing the back end. McAllister closes the gap to 1/10 of a second. McAllister looks at the inside line. No, goes out wide. It's a drag race. McAllister has the race lead, trying to make it work around the outside line. McAllister clear of Casey. Can the absolute mad lad do it? Look at Casey throwing it in extremely deep, making that gutsy move work. McAllister and Casey both off track. McAllister loses the drive. Here comes Nick Beaver. Who's it gonna be? It's gonna be Casey. McAllister, Beaver at the line with the unofficial results. Did Matthew Casey have a slowdown there? Did he have a penalty? Who's gonna be the official winner here? We're going to try and get confirmation on who might have won it here as McAllister takes his seat. Is it Casey? Is it McAllister? Who won it? We just get confirmation. Gareth Mcallister picks up his first win here at League Zero. Matthew Casey finishes second. Nick Beaver rounds out the top three. I am losing it up here in the broadcast booth. The wildest finish I have seen in such a long time. What a night. I don't think I've ever called a League Zero event that was just absolutely gnarly is the best way to describe that. We're going to try and get these top three drivers up here into the waiting room. My goodness. So up first, we're going to get Nick Beaver join us with the third place result. Nick, I'm out of breath. I'm almost speechless, which is a very rare occurrence for me. But walk us through those last few laps where it was just absolute madness out on track.
I might be as speechless as you, if considering you are speechless. That race was intense. Gosh, about halfway we got single file, but the top five were starting to close in on each other. I had no idea where I was going to end up. That was the closest racing, and I'm very happy with the outcome. My goodness, that was just a spectacular drive by everyone around. Yeah, that was so fun. That was so cool.
Now, Beaver, it was such a wild finish as we watched the replay here on the broadcast. I've never called a race just quite like that, and I didn't expect it to be that clean. I mean, everybody inside the top six, such talented individuals, knew when to be aggressive, knew when to be safe and back out a little bit. And were you expecting a crash throughout that run? I mean, historically the sprint races aren't that clean, I would say. And tonight it was just great racing all the way around.
It was anticipating crashes. Yeah, I think as close as we were, I think I had several car contacts, which is just um, unheard of in open wheel cars like this. It's literally short track racing, and that's how tight it was. But for the most part, room was given. There were a couple tight situations where folks closed the door, but you just got to anticipate for stuff like that. Um, yeah, yeah, I was on my toes the entire time. I think I held my breath the whole race.
Awesome, Nick. Congratulations. That was a lot of fun to watch. A very well fought third, and I definitely enjoyed watching it up here in the booth. And who do you want to give a shout out to here tonight that helped make this evening possible?
Well, first of all, congrats to Mr. McAllister for the win. It's so cool for me to finish third by 14 thousandths of a second. That's just insane. But anyway, I had a bunch of people, Nick Trollman and Charles. Let's try this. Curriner. I'm sure you probably struggle with that one, but I was hanging out with them. It's good to have them in the league. Then we had Andrew Brandon, Tyndall. Let's see, Michael and Michael. Yes, so those guys were hanging out. Oh, and Alex. Hi, Alex Jensen. So yeah, thanks to everyone for hanging out. That was a ton of fun. Very good night.
All right, Nick. Congratulations. Good to have you up here, and let's see if we can carry some momentum forward into next week, my friend.
Sure thing. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. That was Nick Beaver joining us in the third place result. Now, we did get a report that Matt Casey finishing second. He got a slowdown on the final lap. Unfortunately, he will not be joining us here tonight. Had to go get checked out at the infield care center. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together. Gareth Mcallister joining us in the top spot for the first time here at League Zero. McAllister, it's been too long, my friend.
James, I don't know what to say. my heart was going so fast when I made that move into the final chicane, and then he got back around me because I broke too early and I was just panicking, and then I think Casey just beat me, but like he had a slowdown, I believe, which put him just the tiniest bit behind me, and there's an amazing screenshot of us like 3 wide on the I can't. Woo!
Now McAllister, we're watching the replay. Casey had that slowdown coming out. You looked like you were about to lose the back end, and Nick Beaver was charging ever so diligently forward next to you. I mean, this is the first race I think I can say I've seen so much aggressiveness out of you in the 25 machine. What got into you tonight? What motivated you to push so hard? Because absolutely fantastic racing out of you.
James, I honestly have no idea. Like, I was feeling really good. I seem to do really well at Suzuka. I don't know what it is, but I had my first podium chat with you here as well, and in the sprint as well last season. So I'm almost at a loss for words, man, James. This is incredible.
First win, I mean, again, the most aggressiveness we've ever seen out of you in that number 25 machine. It looked like about 3 laps left to go. You just wicked it up, licked the stamp, and sent it. Now, we saw, I believe, as a self-spin out of you during the feature event. How were you able to overcome that kind of mentally to get prepared for the sprint after a feature event that didn't go your way?
Oh, that's a great question. I wish I had the proper answer, but in all honesty, I'm not entirely sure, because yeah, that spin really did knock me around a bit. I was very unhappy, and then I brought it down pit road and I came out behind Peter, and I tried to get him in the feature, but I realized I put a little bit too little fuel in, so I had to fuel save to the end. And in the sprint, I don't know what happened. I felt in the groove. I went out wide and lost the position to I can't remember who it was. I think it was Charles, and I just somehow clawed it back, and things just went my way. I guess I was able to bring it home.
Yeah, well, I can tell you I'm pumped. The fans are pumped. I've been calling your races for a long time here, either at League Zero or other events. As a broadcaster and a friend, I'm absolutely pumped for you, man. It's great to have you in the top spot, but doubly so since it's a race I'm calling, and I know you're ecstatic. And Here's something new for you. You've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout-out to that make that first win possible for you?
Oh, I've got oh, if I had a list like of all the people, it'd probably stretch from where I am in Australia to where you are in America. It's just, it's unreal. But like, I've got so many people that I want to thank the whole league. I want to thank you and Team Goon Squad. I want to thank all my friends. I want to thank my family. I know my grandma will be watching. I know my mum and dad and my brother will be watching, and um, yeah, it's just it's absolutely amazing, and I can't thank everyone enough. So thank you, everyone, and it's a good thing. I tell you, James, it's a good thing that you don't get the first place person up here straight away, because I was not in a position. My heart was beating so fast. I was freaking out. I was going crazy on the mic. It's a it's a good thing I had time to digest it all and come in here to talk to you after. So yeah.
Yeah, we saw you pull over, taking a moment. So Gareth, very well deserved, man. We're all pumped for you. I think the whole paddock's pumped for you. So congratulations on the first win. Hope it's of one of many more to come, and well deserved out there tonight, my friend.
Thank you very much, James. Have a good one. Good night to everyone watching.
That was Gareth Mcallister bringing home the top spot the first time for his career here at League Zero, picking up the win. And again, the results, we normally pull up the results tab here, but those would be the unofficial results. The official results, it appears to be Gareth Mcallister, Matthew Casey, Nick Beaver running 1, 2, 3, Raymond Aguilar, Brandon Wan rounding out the top 5. A fantastic race, one of the best sprint races I've ever had the pleasure of calling here at League Zero, and capped off with a first-time winner, one of the nicest guys in the paddock you could possibly find, Gareth Mcallister. On behalf of LeagueZero.net as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, spending your Thursday evening with us, and I look forward to having you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.